Hello there, good afternoon. Glad you could join us on Nationwide today, being the very last edition for this week. I'm Joseph Johnson. We begin by telling you that President Muhammadu Buhari has left Abuja for Nairobi, Kenya, ahead of the 6th Tokyo International Conference on Africa's Development beginning Saturday. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president, who departed Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport this afternoon, is expected to join over 30 other African leaders at the summit aimed at promoting structural economic transformation on the continent through diversification and industrialization. The summit is co-organized by the government of Japan, United Nations, African Union and the World Bank. The president, who was seen off at the airport by Minister of the FCT, Mohamed Musa Bello, and other senior government officials, is expected to hold bilateral meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister. To politics now. Registered political parties under the auspices of the Inter-Party Advisory Council have expressed their support for the ongoing anti-corruption drive and economic revitalization of the federal administration. This was during the federal inauguration of the new executive committee of IPAC held in Abuja. Abdullahi Garba Brennan-Kudu has details.
A seven-member National Executive Committee took oath of office to run the affairs of IFAC for a one-year period. It is a body that fosters inter-party mutual relationships and engender democratic practice. The new chairman of the council, Muhammad Lawal Naladu, who is the national chairman of Accord Party, promised to use IPAC platform to deepen Nigeria's democracy. He also pledged partnership with the central government in power.
It is gratifying to note the present government's resolve and strong political will in tackling these twin evils head-on. The next and deadly evil is corruption. We must all join hands with the president to fight it with all our might.
Secretary to the government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, and INEC chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu were both represented at the event.
I want him to key in to the philosophy of the change mantra.
The new IPAC Executive Committee may also consider a review of the Code of Conduct, being a dynamic document amenable to change.
There are 36 registered political parties in Nigeria. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Burnunkudu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the APC candidate in the March 19th Rivers Southeast rerun elections says the decision by the Independent Electoral Commission INEC to exempt Thai local government from the exercise planned for October is in line with extant provision of the Electoral Act. Senator Abe addressed the press against the backdrop of a court injunction obtained by the PDP in Rivers State, restraining the INEC from declaring Thai local government rerun election result. Ogeji Paul was at the press briefing in Abuja and now reports.
The March 19th rerun senatorial elections in Rivers State, Senator Abe recalls, were suspended at various stages on account
Security, anti-corruption and economic diversifications are key vocal points of the federal government's development drive. To that extent, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has called on the diplomatic community to key into government's domestic agenda, which underpins its foreign policy. Gabriel Ludu reports that the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs Ambassador, said this at a briefing with the diplomatic community in Abuja.
With over 2 million internally displaced persons in the northeast due to insurgency, the government has called the diplomatic community to stand with Nigeria as she surmounts all the challenges facing the country.
We urge you to please continue to show this solidarity and support and concern, not just because this is a national problem, it is a regional problem, an extension and international concern.
The Permanent Secretary also addressed the issue of channels of communication as some foreign missions of the habit of undermining laid-down procedures as well as giving out negative information about the country. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
The Federation Accounts Allocation Committee has shared over 443 billion naira between the three tiers of government as revenue for July 2016. This represents 11% decrease over that of the previous month. Leah Katun Babatunde reports.
Last month, government smiled to the bank after revenue rose astronomically following the remittance of company income tax and petroleum profit tax in June. However, that revenue was almost halved in July as gross statutory revenue declined by 250.97 billion naira. Crude oil export decreased by 2.8 million barrels in April, which affected income as Federation export revenue decreased by $102.17 million. The increase in amount shared was occasioned by a recovery of 1.373 billion naira excess bank charges, exchange gain as well as arrears of 36.494 billion naira from the month of May.
Established that some banks overcharged. So these banks were requested to refund. So these refunds which you are seeing in these figures.
A case was made to the National Economic Council, and CBN was directed to refund that the gain, to use the flexible exchange rate. So it was on the basis of this that this 36 billion accrued to the Federation account.
Lagos will soon join the League of Oil Producing States receiving 13% derivatives as journalists were informed that so far no state funds are being held to repay bailout funds.
There has not been any reduction, but if states got committed to some other obligations with commercial banks, these are obligations outside control of the federal government, and the agreed terms of deductions have to prevail.
Of the revenue distributed, value-added tax was 64.308 billion naira, refund by NNPC 6.33 billion naira.
Say for instance, chocolate and maybe even cashew nuts, we would have been totally developed.
The Zero to Export initiative is one of the flagship programs of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, which focuses on creating new generation of Nigerian exporters through practical and theoretical training anchored on a public-private partnership drive. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
National Peace Ambassador and the human rights advocate Splendor Joe King says adequate attention should be given to children on the streets to avoid being used
an army.
For over an hour, these senior officers of the Nigerian Army were exposed to emerging trends in private security practice. Security expert Roy Ohidevre, in his lecture, offered global perspectives and imperatives on private security practices in collaboration with public security operations. He explained that the evolving scope of intelligence and information gathering, strategies to counter attacks and crime prevention has made it necessary to engage private security operators as one sure way of tackling insecurity.
So it's appropriate to actually deal with a retired practitioner that has taken the game to the playing field, okay, that have gotten certified, that have gotten the basics in the business, that have also gotten themselves aligned with international best practice and certification.
and Theatre Art Workers Union, RATAU, in honor of the Director General and other personalities who have contributed to the success of the union. Fatima Liu has the report.
Honor brings joy and happiness. It also deepens desire to love and serve, as well as lift others ultimately. This was exactly what the night seeks to achieve as the Directors General and members of RATAU as well as NUJ fraternized in relaxed atmosphere.
Professionally, there should be a time to sit together, rejoice with people that give
who enumerated efforts at digitizing Nigeria and urged relevant agencies to keep the sensitization alive. In Abuja, Fatima Aliyu, NTA News.
And the Director General Nigerian Television Authority (NTA), Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, has lauded the initiatives of the National Council for Women's Society in promoting the rights of women and children in the society. It was when the leadership of the council paid a courtesy visit on the DG
play their part in the nation building. We hope that you will continue to lend your support to issues concerning women development and empowerment.
The new leadership of the council was elected into office on the 16th of July 2016. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
In the meantime, media practitioners in the country have once again been reminded of their constitutional roles as managers of information, builders of society, and promoters of good governance through constructive
in abundance within its estuaries. The governor commended President Muhammadu Buhari for identifying with his programs, which, according to him, contribute significantly to the economic recovery agenda of the state government. The state chairman, Nigeria Union of Journalists, Victor Udu, appreciated the governor for efforts to restore security and sanity to the state, as well as improve the livelihood of the people, and promised that journalists in the state will reciprocate government gesture by rededicating their
and create more centers to ease difficulties of candidates and JAMB officials. From Duse, Habib Hussein, NTA News.
In advancing its strategic goals on stakeholders' collaboration, the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSA, is strengthening its partnership with the World Bank on effective road safety management in Nigeria. At a meeting at the national headquarters of the FRSC in Abuja with representatives of the World Bank,
It's very much reassuring, and I can assure you that we are interested and we'll be happy to continue this partnership. I'm here today to see first-hand results of what you have done. Obviously, there is much more to be done.
Project opportunity for all Nigerians to lend their support to this noble cause. The pre-launch of Get Involved project is from 29th August to 2nd September 2016. Time 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Venue International Conference Center, Abuja. Launching holds on Saturday, 3rd of September 2016. Time 10 a.m. Venue International Conference Center, Abuja. For more details, email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Get involved and save the life of a Nigerian child today.
Program The Defender is back on NTA Network every
Yeah, sharp guy, how are you? What's your name?
Akpos. America.
Oh, Akpos, America.
Yeah, one. Love you too.
Wonderful wonder! Wonderful wonder!
Wonderful.
Lives. That is the democracy dividend Nigerians have waited for. But no one should expect that all the damage done over a generation can be undone in a year. Real change demands perseverance and patience. It demands openness to honorable compromise and cooperation. It demands support on a constant basis from the people of Nigeria and from your friends abroad. That does not mean being patient with
of the NTA. The National Human Rights Commission says it would investigate the alleged circumstances which led to what stopped last Saturday's mass wedding in Kano State, organized by Senator Rabiu Musa Kwangwaso for wedding couples. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Professor Bemangwe, promised this when the intending couples came to petition the Commission. Olain Kaujo reports.
The petition alleges infringement on their rights to freedom of association and practice of religious obligation that was occasioned by the cancellation of the mass wedding for 100 of them by security operatives.
Observation at a seminar on resuscitation of the nation's economy through agriculture in Ibadan. Correspondent Oyinka Fularomi reports.
Finding alternative to oil as the mainstay of the Nigerian economy is one challenge that the nation has been confronting. Agriculture seems to be the most attractive, as there are various suggestions to the benefits it could provide in revenue and employment generation. With the theme, Our Nation in Profound Economic Crisis, Strategies for Survival and Recovery, the seminar centered on wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to mark.
Police Command has sought the support and collaboration of traditional institutions to rid the state of crimes and criminalities. The State Police Commissioner, Sam Agbegbui, made the plea when he paid a visit to the Shon of Ogbomosho, Oba Jimo Laduni Ajagunbaden. Correspondent Dayo Ogunshola reports.
The new Commissioner of Police in Oyo State said the purpose of his visit to the monarch was to pay homage and explore the vital contributions of traditional rulers in protecting lives and property. CP Adegbuyi observed that even before the advent of modern policing, the royal fathers had long been maintaining security of lives and property in their various domains. Hence, their support are highly needed.
You find out that the traditional chiefs equally are here. They are the source of inspiration for us, motivation as well. And if we...
Callistus Onaga and the traditional ruler of the community, Igwe Gregory Ugu, appealed for both state and federal government intervention to the problem arising from clashes between herdsmen and their host communities.
We see people who have done hasten that way, so to say. We are appealing to everybody. It is not like we wouldn't know how to. Look at the population here. How many of them? It's not that we cannot take to violence. We can as well take to violence. But that's not a solution to it. How can there be very few here and they are intimidating the whole population in this community?
The community, we are not happy. And we don't have any problem with them before now. So I don't know why they should come early in the morning today and sort.
On arrival, Governor Ugwuanyi visited the Fulani settlement, which has been deserted by the herdsmen. The victims of the attack, 2 male and 2 female, among whom is a pregnant woman, are receiving attention at Park Lane and Mother of Christ hospitals, Enugu. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Abducted Kaduna legislator regains freedom. Suleiman brings us details of these and more stories from our Kaduna Network Center. Suleiman.
Thank you very much, Joseph, and welcome to Kaduna. The Arewa Consultative Forum has commended President Muhammadu Buhari's administration for its success in degrading Boko Haram insurgency and crushing cattle rustlers' gangs in the northwest. The commendation is contained in a communique released after the association's annual General Assembly in Kaduna. Muhammad Umar Ajingi has the details.
The meeting brought together members of the Board of Trustees of the association, representatives of state governors, as well as some interest groups to deliberate on issues of national importance, especially that of insecurity across the country. The association, while commending the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari for degrading Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, however, expressed concern on the increase of kidnapping of people for ransom, as well as the clashes between farmers and herdsmen. It is against this backdrop that the ACF resolved to hold security summit to sensitize stakeholders and proffer lasting solutions to the problems. On the issue of the economy, the ACF decided to produce a template of the available solid minerals in the north to enable government harness the sector. They appealed to the Niger
addition, when NTA News visited the family house of the lawmaker in Tudunwada, the presence of sympathizers was noticed. Ibrahim Ismail, who is the chairman House Committee on Lands and Survey, expressed his gratitude to the people for their prayers and concern. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kodang, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria police is enhancing community policing through mobilizing eminent community leaders to contribute in maintaining law and order. Towards this end, an eminent persons forum has been inaugurated in Kaduna State. Commissioner of Police, Kaduna State Command, Sanusi Lemu, said the meeting is at the instance of the Acting Inspector General of Police. Muhammad Garba Nata'ala has the details.
Egyptian women face violence and harassment. Reports from Italy say that with another tremor of 4.7 magnitude striking on Friday, government's declaration of a state of emergency in the areas worst hit by Wednesday's earthquake is deemed a necessity by many. Hundreds of aftershocks hindered rescue efforts at finding more survivors, and death toll has risen to at least 268, with 400 people injured. The Prime Minister promised 50 million euros for rehabilitation of the affected areas. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
And just before we go, let's talk sports with Ayodeji Makinde.
Despite Nigeria's failure to qualify for the quarterfinal of the just concluded 2016 Rio Olympic basketball event in Brazil, the country's basketball national team, the Tigers, have emerged as the best team in the continent. According to the Federation of International Basketball Association FIBA rankings for the month of August, the Nigeria's men's team, which ranked 25th before the Olympic Games, moved to 16th, above continent's arch-rivals Angola, which is now 23rd. The top 5 in Africa include Tunisia, Angola, Senegal, and Côte d'Ivoire, while the United States lead the world rankings, followed by Spain, Serbia, France, and Lithuania. The English Premier League show continues on the NTA network Saturday with the live telecast of Matchday 3 pairing between defending champions Leicester City and Swansea City. The build-up to the kickoff begins at 2:30 p.m. as Super Eagles vice-captain Ahmed Musa looks forward to open his goal-scoring accounts for Leicester.
Last season, everything we did was fantastic, and this season is different. Now we have to fight a lot and to score goals and to win the match. That's it.
Manchester